Hey everybody, this is Jim at SP500chart.com. It is actually Tuesday morning, 9:42. The markets have been open for a little bit more than 10 minutes. Got in really late last night and just needed the sleep. So let's take a look, because something technically significant has happened already this morning. And I want to look at that after I remind you that the website and this video are for educational purposes only, and nothing stated at the site or in the video is intended to be used as investment advice. I can draw lines on charts, but you have to draw your own conclusions from your own research and make investment decisions that are suitable for your personal financial situation. I'm not a licensed financial professional. I'm just this guy who draws lines on charts. So let's take a quick look. So here's what is going on this morning. We are up again, currently about 14 points. By the way, the data for these live charts is on the BATS exchange, so it's not necessarily going to be exactly tracking to the penny on other exchanges. It's very close though. So this is the deal. We had talked about the potential for this trading range that was set on the 15th and the 16th of October as being a bottom, and it was based on a couple of things. The first thing is it was based on the fact that we blew out through the bottom of every descending support line, and that's usually a sign of over emotional trading, and typically the last people who trade are the ones who either are afraid that the bottom's going to drop out and they can't take it anymore, or they're the ones who at a top are afraid they're going to miss a move, so yes, I'm going to risk it all now. And both of them make mistakes in doing that. So I think, at least in the short term, that's the kind of mistake that was made by longs back on the 15th. So we make a dip down, a larger dip down, then a series of smaller dips, all of which I was just kind of hypothesizing that maybe this was making an inverted head and shoulders pattern. So I sort of defined this loosely as one, and get rid of my moving average there, and we had a target therefore from this little group down here of about 1918. Here we are at 1921. We've made that target. Additionally, we've had our blue trend line that admittedly is not a perfect trend line, and it's not perfect because it has a long stretch of more than 2 years where it wasn't tagged. So that means it's hard to really extend that line 2 years past that last touch and be assured that you have accuracy. In other words, this line could be down here, it could be up here. It's really hard to get it exactly right. Well, we are now again, bearing in mind that this line may not be very accurate, we are now above this line by a little bit. Finally, well, not finally, thirdly, we are also in the process of a strong back test of this broken rising support line, but I will remind you that it never, well, I shouldn't say that, but it never really broke by a technically significant margin. It did break, and if we get over this line by a decent amount, I think at the end of the day, literally and figuratively, we may revisit where these lines might be drawn. Okay? In other words, maybe this is our trend line here, but we won't know until we get a little bit more data. And there is also a possibility that if that is our lower trend line, then our upper trend line could also be altered somewhat to take this peak into account. So, a nice day so far. The other thing that we might want to keep our eye on is if we can power over some of these resistance lines like it looks like we're trying to do with this blue line. The next one we're coming up on right here is this extended green line, which if we power up over that, then I think we have to consider that maybe we're dealing with an even larger inverted head and shoulders pattern. Not a big one still, but larger, that that would have a target that would take us up. Actually, it projects to take us up into the 1980s. So let's just see what happens with it as it unfolds today. So far, this small pattern down at the bottom has met its target. We are back testing this line. This line could give some resistance, even though it never was broken by a, quote, technically significant margin. It was broken for a day and a third. So guys, let's just leave that for our morning update. Apologize for not getting this online yesterday. Just the schedule did not allow it. So let's see how the day shakes out. So far, I think we made a good call on that short-term bottom. Let's see just how much we come off of that bottom to where we set our next short-term top. Thanks for watching. Take care.